Component 3. What is it? What is it, and why the mystery? Because Sean Murray was very, very anxious to get No Man's Sky Online out there. He was very anxious to get VR out there. Why is he holding Component 3 months later, right? He what we learned about Beyond and VR, but like in February? March, was it?
Yeah.
Forever ago.
Forever ago, it feels like. Yeah, I'm with you there.
I've slept a lot since.
You slept a lot? Is that your way of passing the time?
Yeah.
Not a bad way to go, honestly. I tell you what, it is times like this when I'm not playing No Man's Sky as much that I have discovered that I am a man of a certain age, right? I have figured out during this summer that my favorite things, weirdly, that are not gaming related, obviously, and very weirdly, is like having my mower and a cold beer and headphones blasting music. Like, you know I'm about to touch 40. When that kind of stuff pleases me, right? And so I'm doing anything to pass the time, right? And why is it that Component 3 has been so out of our grasp? And it's sort of the final puzzle piece. Summer is not, it doesn't have long left, right? It's going to start getting cold here. When's the last day of summer? September-ish?
Like first week of September, somewhere in there. Yeah.
We don't have a long way to go. So what is it? What is Component 3? And of course, I'm watching the chat too there for everybody that's participating in the chat. Let us know what you think, or of course, jump in the call, Peaceful Gamer. Yeah, you coward, you. And I'd like to hear, what is Component 3? What do you think Component? I'm hearing a lot from folks that they expect it to be maybe a space update.
I think. Well, for a long time, I thought Component 3 was going to be heavily content update, and nothing in particular. But when that survey came out, and I know that you follow Cobra, and he's been tick marking.
Oh, not the damn survey.
Yeah. But you know what?
That damn survey.
here's the thing, though. I honestly, at this point, as late in the game as we are, waiting for the date to come out, I think that the third pillar is going to be the patch notes now.
The third pillar is the patch notes?
We're going to get the patch notes. And in that patch notes, he's going to probably reveal all the additional content that we don't know about, right? Yeah, more base building, how diverse the new NPC animations are going to be. There might be overhaul to space. There might be overhaul to, questing. Now with multiplayer online, we're going to see maybe a guild menu where we can do guild managed players that are grouped together in communities. It's just going to be filled with probably tons of content, and then stuff that we probably aren't even expecting.
Yeah, I think there's going to be one big thing that will be a part of the Pillar 3 that no one has any idea. But we all have speculation at this point, but no one knows. I mean, I would love them to release it without telling us what Component 3 is, and we have to find it and discover. That would be incredible, great for content creators. But let's be honest, they're going to announce it probably maybe a week before, a day before, who knows? But it's going to be something that no one, I truly think that no one is expecting, and it may be part of what we're speculating, but
wait, whoa, I don't mean to interrupt.
Who knows?
But you just said something I didn't know I wanted. Like, rewind for a second. You were just like
mystery, true mystery.
You're just like Component 3
I want portals that don't work again, and let us figure it out for real in the game. That would be true, and have it be community driven on that, where people have to work together and solve crazy puzzles in the game, and that's what this game would. Oh, that would be next level.
By the way, I brought Peaceful Gamer in here. Welcome, you elusive man. You
showed up, buddy.
I'm surprised he didn't fall victim to your narcolepsy. Hey, there he goes. Never mind. He nodded off. He's gone.
What's happening? What's happening?
Somebody turn his PS4 off.
Yeah.
He's gonna
The alarm
die.
clock.
It's up, PG.
What's happening, guys?
So, and I want to reiterate that because that's crazy. And I know we like to delve into speculation a lot and stuff like that. But you saying that No Man's Sky beyond Component 3 is just going to be this mystery thing and go out there and get it, that blows my mind. And now I kind of want that. Like, even if it's just like a space update, subtle, just like, hey, we're not going to tell you what Component 3 is. You go get it. It's out there somewhere. Or they'll just say, hey, we just put a lot of stuff in the game that wasn't there before. Have fun. Like, how would y'all feel about that being Component 3?
I would love that.
I mean, that'd be awesome, right? I mean, that's true discovery, right?
And you know what? It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, aside from that damn survey that Cobra seems to love so much, which he has a point, right? It's got merit, right? He definitely backs it up. And every time he brings it up, I do a cringe, and then I'm just like, okay, he's right. And like, so do you had mentioned that you think that they're not going to sort of ceremoniously reveal Component 3. They're just going to sort of drop it. There it is. Here's your update. Here's Component 3 is named this, and here's the rest of everything. Go enjoy the update later tomorrow.
Well, I mean, okay, so like if we're speaking about speculation, we're looking at it purely conjecture. Like we are assuming now, right, that the Beyond update's going to come out maybe August 9th, I guess. You know, and if that's true, if it's an anniversary update, right? Well, then that leaves us what, three weeks? Is that about right? About 3 weeks before August 9th hit.
Basically,
and I mean,
yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
and if that's how much short of time that we have to wait, if that's true, then they would have to give us, something either this week or next week. But typically, when they patch notes, well, no, because I think next they release patch notes like the day of, or I don't know. But I mean, if we're going to get some kind of a reveal, be either this week or next week, I think he'll miss his mark. The update will be out if it launches August 9th.
I needed to launch before then. All right about that. I'm just saying, like, I'm doing pretty good about keeping distracted. But damn it. Like, throw me a bone here, man. Like, and here's the thing, I love talking about it, and it's weird to me that there are people that exist that they sort of get passionately fighty with their No Man's Sky discourse. I mean, I had to block somebody on Twitter the other day just because they wanted to be antagonistic about it. And I if anything, I wanted to talk about it. Like, I want to know more. I want people to tell me their really cool ideas, like what we just said, like how it just being a mystery, right? That's the kind of speculation that I enjoy. But here's the thing, something like that isn't outside of the realm of possibility, right? Sean said that Beyond is going to contain a whole lot of things we weren't expecting. I mean, those are his words. And
yeah, he said, I think verbatim, in past updates, there was a lot of things that players kind of maybe were expecting, but then there's that 10% of stuff that they didn't even know that they were. Said it's that 10% that there's a lot of in this Beyond update.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say there was 10%. He said there was a lot of that in this Beyond update.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe there's going to be more than just 10% of content that we're unfamiliar with. I think there'll be a ton of stuff that we had no clue that we were going to get. I think
15%.
Huge. 15%, right? I think it's huge.
I mean, but we have to factor in. But let's talk about the content they already added, that they know they added. Just the stuff that they added just for VR alone. I mean, new cockpits. The Exocraft have interiors now, which Honestly, I'm sure they will, but I'm hoping
Dude, the
non-VR.
motorcycle inside view is going to be.
Epic.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't wait.
Like I can't wait to see this stuff, and I'm
Mhm.
genuinely hoping that the non-VR folk like me get to enjoy the fruits of that. I really want that because I don't foresee myself getting
There'd be
into
no
VR.
reason for them not to put it in. They have the assets. There'd be no
Still have
reason for you to.
first-person view, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
even just stupid stuff like some of the demo footage that we saw where they were like turning their head and looking out to see the engine and the wing. Like maybe that's not that practical unless we're talking like combat. But I want that stupid stuff. Like I want that
Yeah.
that little those little arbitrary things to where I can look because right now I feel like my traveler inside the ship kind of like slept wrong and now they have like a crick in their neck and they can't turn their head but so much. And that bothers me a bit. So I'm kind of hoping for immersion's sake that I get
That's
to take
why I-
advantage of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I love that the fighter ship, those round cockpits so much, because you really have a freedom of movement to look side to side in there. And that's generally kind of how I play too. I
Mhm.
mimic head movement when I play. I like to like fly around and look to my left, look to my
Mhm.
right. Especially I like taking off from a planet sometimes, just like with just like the regular, not even like warping or anything, but just taking it easy, taking a nice slow flight out of atmosphere and just kind of tilt the ship a little bit to the side so I can see the planet fading below me. So I already kind of have this sort of way of sort of playing this virtual way, like I'm actually kind of like moving my head around. So once
Yeah.
I can do that in VR, I think, oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
you
gonna
bought
be so
VR, didn't
crazy.
you? You're
I am, man. I bought PSVR. I went all in again. I bought a PS4 for this game. I just bought a PSVR for this game.
you got a pro, did you?
So no, I don't even have a Pro. I have the base.
Oh, you
I'm
got the
waiting
base.
for my I'm waiting for my PS4 to overheat, to be honest.
Oh yeah, you're waiting for it to catch fire. Are you like me?
I've got
You're
it,
praying for that thing to break so you can have a justification to buy a
Yes.
new one? Yeah.
and then I'm just gonna swap it out, sneak it. The wife will never notice.
Sorry, wife. I guess I'm just gonna have to go buy a PS4 Pro now.
No, there will be no such discussion. There will just
Let's see.
be
What do you think
item.
Component 3 is?
What do I think Component 3 is? Or who did you ask?
Oh, man.
Oh, either one of you. I mean, you guys are both. Let's be honest. You guys know this game inside and out. What do you guys think it's going to be? I mean,
So I think aside from the VR component, which is it's mostly just a gameplay mechanic, with some some addition of assets to help with the immersion aspect of the game. Then you've got No Man's Sky Online. I wish I knew more about that piece particularly because if I'm being honest, I play mostly alone. Which is weird. Like I would love to be able to play with other people in No Man's Sky, but it's already to a point where I just don't want to walk around places with people. It sounds weird, I know. I mean, I exploring with other folks, but so I want No Man's Sky Online to be significant and meaningful. But third component to me sounds like it's going to have to be a realization of No Man's Sky in general. And it could be a space update, right? Because I think we all agree that space has been the thing that has gotten the least amount of attention, content-wise, overhaul-wise. Mostly everything in the game has gotten a sort of a reworking to a degree, and I feel like space has been the thing, with the exception of space stations. Space has been the thing that has been sort of neglected in that regard. So I think that Component 3 probably should be. I don't know that it would be, but it should be. It should be something that makes space what people sort of originally wanted it to be, right? And like hear me out for a second.
Are you talking solar system mechanics, or?
Yeah, or say for instance, right? You know how you sort of warp in sometimes, and you see this giant freighter in front of you, and it's being attacked, right? What if that freighter is not being attacked at all, but the fight already happened, right? And you can just this freighter is just sort of floating derelict and destroyed, and it's there for the taking, right? You can go in and explore it and loot it. And maybe it's filled with sort of crazy, angry monsters like Dead Space or something, right? I think, and I've made videos about this sort of what I want the sort of No Man's Sky 2.0 to be, right? I was talking about things like adding dungeons, procedural dungeons to the game, giving me a reason to sort of gallivant the galaxy with my buddies, and sort of a PvE type of situation. And the same is for space, right? Those abandoned space stations. I was streaming the other day, and I found my very first abandoned space station. I never went out of my way to go look for them, but I discovered one for the very first time, and I remember looking at it and going, "This is great. Now what?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just sort of, "Hey, I'm on this thing. It looks super awesome. I have this feeling of atmosphere that they did a very good job of conveying. What else could they do to that to really capitalize on that thing?" So I'm really hoping that Component 3 is a capitalization of everything you see here. It is a realization of sort of, it's the paint on the canvas, so to speak. That's kind of what I'm hoping that Component 3 is.
Hey, Legacy. So
Go for it.
You talked about derelict spaceships like freighters and stuff like that. I think that's brilliant. I think it's awesome. Those abandoned space stations could be handled in the same way. If you're planetary, if you're looking at planets, you could see like an abandoned shipyard, or you could see like the temples that we currently go and we seek out relics or artifacts. Don't make it something that we just dig up. Make it something that we have to like traverse and explore and go to the different chambers and halls and rooms and stuff like that to go find this stuff, right?
Yeah, otherwise, it's just a statue on a planet somewhere, right? I want these things to have meaning and depth.
But if you look at all that, I mean, now what we're talking about is a sci-fi version of what we would see as dungeons in a fantasy game. And that leads me into the Emma component, right? We're talking about a third component, but is very relevant to the other two. And I mean, when he had in Sean Murray's, one of Sean Murray's interviews, he said, they'd say, what is multiplayer online? What is? And he said, a lot of common elements that you find in a typical MMO, you'll find in No Man's Sky. He goes, there won't be, we won't be having a cash store. There won't be any membership fees or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about. But we're talking about common gameplay elements. So, you have to take that content and what he said, and you have to look at the typical MMOs that we play today and ask ourselves, what are the commonalities behind all these MMOs that would be relevant to the No Man's Sky universe? Are we looking at auction?
So you're saying all that stuff would be part of online and not part of Pillar 3 then?
Well, they go together apparently.
I think it's both, yeah. And I think that's why he launched Beyond. He launched Beyond the way he's launching it, because each one of these components were supposed to be an independent launch time, but they worked so well together that he went ahead and made the decision to launch all three together as one big massive update.
I need to see just how well these things go together. Because it could be that our speculation about the three separate pieces is really just speculation about one larger piece. Not even just how he's presenting it, but how it all goes together. Sort of VR notwithstanding, right? VR is sort of how you play versus the other two components, I imagine, is what you play.
Right.
Well, sort of like VR is how you play. Online is who you're playing with. Component 3 is what the hell are you playing?
Yeah. What
What
are
we
you playing together? Yeah.
And what are we playing in VR? I think definitely it's got something to do with the
But I don't know.
content.
I
So,
don't know if any of the. Yeah, I could be mistaken. Somebody can call me out. But I don't know if there's been a really hard analysis or comparison with MMOs, the common elements of MMOs, and the No Man's Sky game. I mean, in a typical MMO, you're looking at player progression. That's common.
Mhm.
You're looking at auction houses and player economy. That's common. You're
Squads or
looking at
guilds.
guild menus and guild management systems. That's common. You're looking at raids and dungeons.
Yep.
That's common. You're looking at loot. Ward systems.
Loot.
That's common.
I did a whole video based on loot. I'm
Yeah,
with you
you're
there.
looking
And
at
what's
hubs.
weird is
There's hubs in MMOs.
we mentioned that earlier. Like the very loot the concept of loot is already in the game. It's just underutilized.
Correct.
I think there's a lot of concepts in the game that are very underutilized.
Mhm.
It seems like the game right now is full of these sort of like beta tests of, we have a little bit of online, not really. We have a 4-player co-op. We have, this sort of economy that's there that could be fleshed out with a player economy. The base building stuff that could be fleshed out even further into creating, larger hub type, C word, and all these sort of different things I see in the game where I'm like, man, this could be really expanded. This stuff could be really taken beyond what it currently is.
Mhm.
So I'm sort of thinking in terms of the stuff that's already there, that this update has the potential to sort of take those things and really flesh them out.
Imagine a
beyond
universe where every star system doesn't have a ringed planet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I
even
know.
just want something as simple, and I don't know how Sean feels about this. Maybe he evolved on it, but planet rotation, not orbit, but rotation. Because I feel like right now the day-night cycle on a planet-sized planet is artificial. I mean, even just what we're looking at now, I filmed like 3 time lapses on the channel here, and you'll notice that it just sort of goes from day, stays a while,
Yeah.
then it switches to night, stays a while, and it's just like, what is this, Zelda? Like, and so I would even just want basic things like that. And it was in the game at some point, and they said they took it out because it focus tested poorly. To which I respond,
Yeah.
So?
Yeah, and I think something like that could just be solved with
We need that
better navigation.
difficulty.
Mm-hmm. Like, and I think it would
Could
make
be some
things
sort of
feel more
different-
organic.